I'm back, and I think I've got the sound right this time. So, what are we up to today? Welcome back, and today we are actually preparing to remote stream, as it's put out there. But let's still do our little housekeeping work and make sure that we have our log copied for today, and there we go. So what do we need to do? Well, so I've just formatted a ZFS external drive, so we should be able to sudo zpool list, and that's not the one that we want, so we need to import stash if it can be found. And it is. And in there should be a, is it in MNT? It is not, so where is it? Can we find that going into the file manager here? Windows and cache. Shouldn't import just simply do the right thing? I thought it would, but visibly it didn't. Maybe in media? No, we don't have media. Oh, there's stash directly on the root, and there's the hello, and it was on Mac, so that's why. Okay, not sure where it mounts it. It mounts it at the very root, but that's fine. I can live with that. So what do we want to do? Well, something like rsync. I'm thinking of the stuff that's in our both our shared folder and maybe our presence folder, and then I think let me see. Actually, if I go to cache, what do I have here? Well, I have nothing here. Interesting. Is that not mounted? Maybe it is not. Let's see. Let's zpool list again. It says online, but maybe it's not mounted. Zpool import cache already exists. Apparently it's here, and okay, right. That is a little bit strange, but okay. I'll also rsync this. So let's see if we have a nice incantation for rsyncing 3 different folder, multiple folders. What are the best way? Multiple calls, create 2 backup, rsync blah. You can pass multiple source arguments. Just create. Okay, very good. That's what we want. So let's do this and yeah, see where it takes us. So we rsync. Well, we rsync MNT cache space. So maybe we do this one last. I don't know if it's going to do it in order, but that should be the one that takes the most time. So presence is going to be the one that takes the less time, and shared, I suppose, middle. And then we put that into stash, and then things are skipped up because we need -a, I suppose. And there we go. Oh, there's some permission denied. Okay, let's sudo right away. And that looks better. And let's see if we can track a bit what's going on. And that's not good. That's definitely not what we want. Is it because yeah, because I put the slash in the wrong place. So let's just clean things up. And okay, that's not what I wanted. That's dangerous, but that's fine. And we do this. Okay. All right. And how is it looking now? Much better. Okay. And we did it run. Okay, you know what? I do want to have progress bar. Rsync progress bar, please. PV. You need to use the minus progress. Okay, well, or minus P. So that's what we do. And woofa, it's not good. And minus P blah. Using PV to monitor progress of rsync command PV options, and so we pipe to PV. Then do we have PV? We don't, but we could install it. But what's the deal with this? So let's see. Rsync dash progress without verbose. There is info progress 2. I see. So dash info equal progress 2. That's what we want. And that looks fast, which is what we want. Very good. Okay, so 94%. Yeah, it's all great. No ink recursive. Disable incremental recursion. I see. Yeah, we don't really care about that. I think it probably means that percentage might not be right. Is that might be the recursive bit? Maybe? I don't know. Right, okay. Normally it's readjusting the percentage. So that's fine. And it's like 2 gig in just 1 minute. That's fast. I'm using USB 3 and what is it? It's maybe an NVMe hard drive on the other side, or at least yeah, at least there's parties on the NVMe hard drive. I think what's in my home directory, and what's in cache is in an SSD drive, SATA SSD drive, internal one. So that's fast. Okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to write this down because it's quite useful. Can I? Oh, maybe not. Okay, that is weird, but fine. Prepare remote streaming. We did what? We did something in Bash. We zippo imported stash, and then we sudo rsync -a -info equal progress 2 of home June presence, home June shared MNT cache space and stash. Okay, and I don't know how it's going to work in the other direction. If doing rsync is actually going to bidirectionally, like it's going to revert things back, but if not, we can always do it manually. Cool. And what are we going to do while it finishes? Well, maybe think a bit. I mean, I'm going to need to do some basic setup once I load this hard drive up onto my Mac laptop. Including, oh yes, I want to share my my OBS setup. And I probably want to use the OBS Studio stuff. And so the question is, do I have everything located in the places that I just transferred, or does OBS actually use some other folders? So let's go check out OBS and see. Let's see. So actually, I should be able to show my control screen here. And what do I have? So I have these scenes. Settings. There's a settings folder in home.config OBS Studio. Some logs. Scenes. Yeah, the scenes are in here. Okay, they're in here, and they're also going to have some linked media. So I'm going to want to do that. So I'm actually using the Junchan_2 scene right now. So I suppose I could also export it and then re-import it, hoping that this will export, that's only the JSON file. So maybe we don't care so much for that. Maybe we just pass the .config file, and then we well, we see what the folder structure for some of the media is. So let me move into studio mode so that we can switch between screens. So for instance, the particle file is in home June videos. So I'm going to want to import that, and probably I'll have to then modify the path, which is fine. So where are we here? 92%. So we're going to want to do also video. So let's add this to the list. We'll retroactively add this. Home June videos. And yeah, I mean, let's not call this embody. Let's call this packing. And let's remove the stuff that doesn't have anything to do with that. And we are good. And right, so last time I did a big picture thing, which is pretty ambitious. I'm gonna name it what I think it is. It's our IIOS, our Information Integration Operating System. Ooh. And oh yeah, I'm in the wrong screen, but that's all fine. Yeah, let's move back here. And yeah, I just renamed this to packing. I also gave a name to this ambitious thing, and I cleaned up the log right there. And 89%, 20 gigs. Yeah, it's all happening. We just need to add the home, the videos, the home videos. Cool. What else am I gonna want? I think that's pretty much it. That's really pretty much it. Trying to think. Okay, I'll take a little break maybe and get some water. Maybe that will jog my memory. Okay, and I'm back, and let's see where we are. 95%. Yeah, I can't think of anything else actually. I think this is going to be it. I mean, I can cycle through what we have here. See, so Barnes Hut simulation. Obviously, running Accelerate on OS X is going to be a whole other story, but we might not want to go there. What else do we have? The arrow stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. Something I could do actually is make sure that I have saved all of my files. So let's save all here, and let's actually save all here. Oh, that seems to be all saved already. And save all here. And nope, that doesn't need to be saved. That's fine. Don't save. But still save all. Okay, well that's fine. Here, okay, we don't need to save all. And here, also don't need to. And then structures, that's also all good. And finally, here we do have some stuff. Let's save all. And there we go. And that is in the shared, yeah. So yeah, I'll probably need to resync that, which is fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll need Chatty. Do I need anything? I probably won't need anything else than just install it. And yeah, we lose our tabs. I suppose I could try and copy the tabs. Well, so I can think of it for a second, like what type of project I'll be working on remotely. So I said probably not the GPU stuff that will drop. Pure script we won't. The data structure stuff, that would be quite interesting to pick up. And the GStreamer stuff as well, particularly all of the Arrow data structure, which sort of also touches on what I'm interested in with the graph style representations. And yeah, inference server, that would require GPU, so probably we won't be doing that. What else did I have here? Schema. Right. I think it's really connected to what we're trying to do with the arrows. Right, it is, but yeah, in a way that sort of connects the applications. So that's in fact connected to here, like events. They kind of mean control, but it can be reused elsewhere. Yeah, I think that's oh, we want projections. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, that's actually connected to the CRDT nature of the data structures that we want, and so some of it will actually be data events. We have data events, and then we also have control events, though maybe those are actually the same thing, possibly. It's always hard to make a difference. And what else? Hanging to lambda compilers PL. Right, and that's because I'd want ideally this to work also with an IDE, but more than that, like distributed computing, compilation, or just-in-time interpretation or compilation. But that's very far looking. Yeah, like Unison, JIT, distributed computing and such. And here the projection, we want to say that that once the events go over the wire, we kind of want them to then be projected onto locally fast data structure. So that's kind of like what Chronofold does. And then like that's where we'd want like maybe cache oblivious data structures, and maybe which other ones, the succinct data structures, and so on. And here generic, right, expression problem. So here, yeah, that's where we want, and this might mean, this might mean a higher order abstract syntax, or parametric higher order syntax, or like things like what is it, the finally tagless kind of stuff. right, and so persistence probably more linked to projections. While while the event sourcing stuff is more about event streaming. Okay. I suppose this is sort of part of this, I think. Part of this operating system idea. And here really what we mean is I'm not sure what we mean really. Maybe you want something like PureScript here. Here we're kind of saying like that's the, sort of the business logic. Is that a way to say this? Maybe it's just the logic, application logic. Maybe, and these are the user mode land apps. Okay. I'm going to reorganize this because I think this is actually really what I'm up to. And then I think knowledge management is sort of maybe what comes after. So this would kind of be the UI layer. And then maybe we have a multimedia streaming layer that's part of the UI. And we have we have compositing. This is application logic and data. And when I say graphics here, it's not immediately clear what I mean. In compositing, we sort of mean yeah, we really mean Wayland. And when we say multimedia streaming, we really mean GStreamer. And here, well, yeah, here it's not exactly obvious. Could be that we mean something like GTK, but it could also be that we mean something like PureScript. Or it could be something like actually GI and GTK in Haskell. It could be that there's actually yeah, I'm thinking like we'd want like isomorphism of sorts. Okay, ideally universal UI. So whatever that means, like you know, actually you might want to look into things like Flutter and React Native and so on, right? And I think there is GTK for iOS and stuff like that, and even Android isn't there. No, there isn't. Yeah, so what about that though? Only on Windows. windows. So maybe this wouldn't be a way to go. I think I was discussing this on stream with someone a while back. Oh yeah, I think was it with SDL, because SDL can run on iOS as well. Yes. So that might be closer to the right abstraction, but it means that we're above, we're in user land. But maybe that's okay. It depends a bit how Wayland connects to the window manager, and yeah, whether this is a window manager and how that works. Let's take a quick look at that. Wayland and window managers. I think there's basically Wayland implementations of Wayland implementations of various well-known window managers. So like, yeah, I think KDE has a Wayland. Goals Wayland 2021. Elected to finalize the transition to Wayland. Yes, and embrace the future of desktop. So that, I suppose, is an alternative route. And Qt, right? So then that takes us into a different stack. But I think there is also Qt for iOS and for Android and so on. So that's maybe I should take a note of that. So there's the kind of Wayland KDE Qt stack, which is more low level. And then there's I think GNOME is also doing Wayland stuff, aren't they? Porting the Wayland, turn into a Wayland compositor. Yes. I'm trying to understand where things fit in the stack here. And GTK plus Wayland backend needs to be completed. Clutter 1, 2. What does that mean? I have to try GTK plus on the Wayland. Under Wayland, it's preferred that clients render their own window decorations. This GNOME shell will need to keep support for decorating its client. It would be good if GTK plus and GNOME shell should share the CSS theming. I wonder if anyone tried to do, well, we've talked about the Haskell compositor, the Haskell Wayland compositor. There's the bindings to WL roots. So let's see, writing a window manager with WL roots. Dynamic tiling Wayland compositor using the WL roots library. Going from 0 to compositing was interesting. There are good libraries available, but everything has moved very fast in the last couple of years. Okay, let's take a look at Vivarium. Dynamic tiling Wayland compositor. Floating windows on demand. So that's a little bit the idea, and this is semantics inspired by Xmonad. Xmonad displays a workspace. New windows are automatically tiled within the current workspace active. So that's definitely close to this type of stuff I'm interested in. Let's make a note of it, and let's check out our, yeah, there we go. So if I resync, So it is going through all nodes, checking which ones have changed. For now, only this small amount has. So let's let it do it, and then I'll add the videos to it. So I just want to minimize the number of changes we do. Okay, so that's the tiling model. So that's very cool. I like that quite a bit. Roadmap, missing features, and then what? Hey, cool, but what if I wanted a tiling Wayland compositor that already works well? Okay, yeah, and then there's Wayfire that we saw. Oh, there's a plugin for it. Cool. Sway is, I think, what most people use because it's the successor of i3 on Wayland, and yeah, Reaver. Damage tracking simply doesn't do this. Naively renders everything every frame. Looks fine, but it's quite inefficient. Can you improve? Why is it called damage tracking? It must be, maybe it's a term. Built using WR roots, largely inherit. So I wonder how, yeah, how big that is actually. Meson, WR roots, Wayland, Wayland protocol, XCB, build, config.toml to configure things, vivconfig to adjust preference, compiling default config or write your own C code for layer or key bindings. Automatically uses the configuration struct. Bar support, started bar such as Waybar. Only Waybar is currently tested. So there's some form of interop between components somehow. I wonder what's that like. Wayland bar for Sway and WR roots. I see. So WR roots must have some abstractions that allow to call in plugins such as like a bar. And wow, this is available for a lot of distros, including Nix packages. And yeah, okay. I'm dreaming here, but is that even possible? macOS compositor goes Quartz. I suppose a Wayland native snapshot is my best snapping on macOS. Ported Wayland to Darwin. Holy moly. That's pretty impressive. I've ported Wayland, that is libWayland client, libWayland server, libWayland cursor, and Wayland scanner from Linux to Darwin. macOS 10.6 no Leopard, to be honest, to be exact. This is pretty incredible. Wayland relies on many little things that are specifically Linux. ePort, TimerV, blah. So I had to try and come up with ways to make it work without them. Plus, couldn't really use AutoTool and Meson or CMake because of the OS being dissolved. So I had to handwrite or generate some make files. Then ported some of the clients, including a few from Western. To do that, I had to port the Western Toy Toolkit. Also, I had to also port several libraries that Wayland and Western depend on. libffi, XSLT, XKD common. Stop it off everything in my very own Wayland compositor. Okay, so that looks sane, and now we can do home, June, and videos without the thingy, and there we go. We get some transfer, and on top of libWayland server and Cocoa. The name's all. W stands for Wayland, O for the language written in, hint is not Swift. What? Objective-C, okay. OWL is the server to its Wayland clients and the client to Quartz. you can kind of call it Wayland quartz, like X Wayland and X quartz, but it's the direct name are way better. Not so much about writing a Wayland compositor without W roots, and even some new things about Darwin, like who knew OS X less than 10.9 doesn't support using PTYs in KQ. Okay, I don't know what that means. Oh, that pipe fork select proxy workaround I've implemented for this in Western Terminal. Okay, that's... I'd love to learn what those incantations mean. So no, Respector, you're not the last one. Hey, Aerobot, you are a spammer. All right, so I shall ban you. Boom. So no, Respector, you're not the last one to boot Snow Leopard in 2019. Yeah, but why? Is it because after that it's not possible? Yeah, exactly. Why? I'm not a big fan of today's Apple nor today's macOS, but I'm fascinated by the old versions. More of a challenge, but then it can't be reused. Mostly I had to work around the lack of these rather than re-implement them, and here you go. I see. Version control and backup. Western seemed insanely responsive when I tried it, but I don't know if that's because it's not very featureful yet. Okay, so you tried it. How did you try it? Mutter is going to be super smooth when they fix frame scheduling and stuff. Amazing. Does it also run on Mojave? I haven't tried it. See no reason why it wouldn't. It is 10.5 on PPC. It is 10.6. Double check, but all these have 32-bit, no 64-bit Cocoa. The client 64-bit. Plans to release it. Not decided what to do about it. I do want to eventually release it so that perhaps someone could even use it for something. But I need to fix many to-dos first. Okay. It's raining quite hard. Let me see if my windows are closed. Okay. Let's see. And okay, well, I think I've actually packed my digital packing. It's fun. Okay, so I'll just continue reading for a bit. Probably, yeah, I'm not in so much of a hurry. Okay, so how come this is your first toot of all things? Do I know you? You're the one that asked about Darling Foundation, right? Yep, the one that asked. So the Mastodon link on your GitHub profile. Blah blah. Read this Mastodon quick guide. I see. Okay, so let's check out what. Maybe there's a GitHub somewhere. Blah. Ported Wayland to the herd. Isn't that the GNOME thing? Also ported Al, my Cocoa Wayland compiler from OSX to the herd using the new step. Okay, this is very Inception-y. Ported Wayland to Darwin. Yeah, but so okay, so not much tweeting or mastodonting, but this is the GitHub, and no owl. That I can see. But apparently some OS being written. What's that about? Graphical Unix-like operating system for desktop computers. Okay, retro. Retro. Indeed. So the OWL was never released. How sad. But though I suppose that doing this on yeah, this old version of Mac is kind of weird, but heroic for sure. Yeah, but I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. I think if what we're talking about is an OS, then I can just install NixOS on top of on top of Mac hardware, right? Custom driver, extra module. Keyboard drivers. I mean, it's not super signposted, I bet, but I think it's possible. And here's a proper installation guide. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's actually supported. No, but this is next. This is not. This is something else. NixOS on MacBook, Linux on MacBook Air. I think this is old. Dual boot. MacBook 5.1 2008. Wow, this is old. Okay, well, probably not going to try this anytime soon, but it's interesting. And Wayland code and so on. WebKit to GTK. That's what's WebKit to GTK? Part of the WebKit rendering engine, suitable for projects requiring any kind of web integration. From hybrid HTML CSS application to full-fledged web browsers. For WebKit's full functionality, is useful in a wide range of systems from desktop computers to embedded systems. Made by a lively community of developers and designers who hope to bring the web platform to everyone as the official web engine of the GNOME platform and is used in browsers such as Epiphany and Midori. I see, since adding support for WebKit 2, it's possible to build applications that use the web platform with increased security and responsiveness. It's strange that it's still called WebKit GTK 2 here, but it was called WebKit 2 GTK elsewhere. But yeah, whatever. And then, okay, compositors. Window and compositor display manages user stuff via OpenGL. Ah, interesting. Sophisticated display engine using the Cluster Toolkit. A solid window. What's the Cluster Toolkit? Oh. Uses OpenGL for rendering. Oh, so it does mobile. Maybe. From developers website. 2064. G-object based. Building clutter, running clutter. Animations. So clutter on all the platforms. GNOME. Visual Clutter, GitLab, Clutter GL dependency. Clutter tutorial. Been writing a Clutter tutorial for OpenSmith. Maybe I'll check this one out. Clutter is a 2.5D canvas API maintained by OpenHand. Are we talking about the same thing? Preview of the tutorial. OpenSmith, couldn't find it. And introduction, and yeah, so that doesn't exist anymore. How about here? No. And how about this? No. And so maybe archive.org maybe. Yeah, IPv4, we know how to do that. Archive.org. And not that. But this. Okay. And here. Okay. Introduction. Understanding of C. We don't have that. That's fine. Okay, maybe I should have read a bit more here. Clutter platform is a technique found in the GTK Plus platform, so we sometimes wish to refer to GTK Plus documentation. Okay. Is there anything like Haskell clutter? Doubt it. There is. Binding to the Clutter C library. Open source software creating fast, visually rich, portable, animated graphical user interfaces. OpenGL for rendering, but with an API has underlying GL complexity. Pretty cool. Who uses that? That is from 2009. Holy moly! So Clutter exists for a long time, and this is only one version published here, and no code that we can immediately see. Oh, there's this code, but is that even a thing? Blah. No, it's not a thing. Yeah, currently incomplete and whatnot. So, I mean, do we even know whether we like Clutter? We don't know that. And why did we get there already? Because of Mata, which is a compiling manager that uses Clutter. Metacity window manager. Okay, let's see what that was like, or is like. Lightweight window manager. Intro, basics, to the. Okay. Metacity. Popular theme is Clearlooks. Interesting. GTK3 support. a clear look for GTK plus 3. And one for QT, apparently. Interesting. So I kind of want to take a look at what is happening in the realm of good themes for themes, I suppose, for some of the more modern window managers. So I think that means GTK 4, isn't it? GTK plus 4, is that a thing? It is a thing, right? Yeah. And now stable doesn't mean GTK3 is dead. So okay, so how does that work though? So that's for apps. So GTK4 needs what window manager is the question. Window manager, is it compatible with several? Are we talking about just the GNOME? GTK3 4 themes. Playlooks talked about. GTK plus added material black colors, whatever that is. GTK. So those things are available across a large number of what? Frameworks? What is this, for instance? This is that's a window manager, right? Yeah. XFCE. Okay, so modern Linux window manager. Okay, why not? But that's a i3 is not a, is there a million? You call this a window manager? Oh, i3. And apparently it is a window manager. It's tiling window manager. Use a tree as data structure. More flexible. Okay. XCB instead of XLib. So I suppose yeah, what are the themes? FAQ. i3 themes. Collection of streams for i3WM. Themes for Polybar, Morphe. Interesting. To recreate some of the GTK themes, you can download Umox and do the colors. Polybar. would happen if I installed this in GNOME. This is GNOME, right? Interesting. Config polybar, blah. What about Waybar compared to Polybar? Wayland support. So, I mean, it seems like modern window manager will be looking at Wayland. So we're kind of talking Sway here, and therefore things like Waybar. So even though a lot's going to be inspired from what's coming out of like i3, I think in the end it's going to be more interesting to look at what's up with the Wayland side of the world. Because more future proof. Best window manager out there for Wayland. Well, I was looking at that a second ago. So GNOME is actually already using Wayland by default. And Kitty and Budgie are working to switch to Wayland. Many simpler standalone window manager projects like OpenBox and i3WM are not making plans to switch. And so then Sway is really the first one. And it's like i3. Also incorporates features from the i3 gaps fork. I suppose that that's the gaps in the middle there. Switching Sway is in the process of switching to a new Wayland library called WR Roots. Okay. Is that the case? Have they already switched? Let's take a look at their video. Hi Drew. Let's get you on full screen. And yeah, sure, let's listen to you. Okay, why not? Okay, what are you doing here? So you do have a taskbar that you doing super D allows you to access applications. Okay. And then boom, opens it and it's a window, and I suppose it also shows the title of the window with the icon, favicon. Very cool. Yeah, that sounds like actually playing with this for a while might be a good idea, but I'm also interested in what's the ecosystem like around this. All proprietary graphics driver are unsupported. The open source Nuvo driver is required instead. It's not going to change, don't ask. Oh boy. Okay, let's see whether it's actually possible still. NVIDIA driver. Unsupported since WR roots migration. Support GBM. Developer don't want to write and maintain an entirely different code path. I think that's that wasn't that a thing though, that NVIDIA was actually going to support this. I think it was supporting allowing alternative GBM backends to be loaded, such as for NVIDIA proprietary drivers should presumably implement GBM in the future. Finally, taking the GBM route for supporting Wayland Compositor with the proprietary drivers. Against GBM, instead propose using GTR stream. Right. So how do we track that? MI. Still open. Just 1 month ago. So yeah, so if we had like a really recent NVIDIA driver version that included that, which, so let's try and follow this thing. Move this into another window so that I can enter my password, including okay. Okay, okay, I need to, I don't remember my password. Okay. Oh, this is not gitlab.com. I need to create an account. That's what's going on. But gladly I can create an account with gitlab.com. But my account is locked. Did I receive an email about this? Signing from the unlock instructions. Yes, I did. Unlock account. And successfully unlocked. And sign in. And there we go. Okay. That was more complicated than I would have liked, but there we go. We can get notified because that stuff is going to be important. And I suppose, I mean, yeah, I can't even imagine what this will mean in terms of driver install and whatnot. So basically I need for now use Nuvo, but can I do multi monitor with it? I know I won't be able to do CUDA with it. Is it worth it? Really not clear. Really not clear. But let's list this. Sway refuses to work with NVIDIA. They have a parameter. They do. Well, clearly not there. Allow and support the GPU. Would that actually work? Detect proprietary, pop modules, blah. This is clean code. Let's just see, but it reads nicely. So, well, let's see. Would that even work anyway? It'd have to be running Nouveau FC2 or use his Intel card. Oh, right. Okay. So it's not even. It's just that they even won't work. Yeah, that's a bit hardcore. I understand. Free software. Login managers. If you have issues using starting Sway, you use Login Manager. First step should be disabling the Login Manager and running Sway as described in Man1 Sway. Ooh, okay. Multi-head. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff should, in theory, work, including high DPI. Color temperature stuff. So I think that's one part that is probably one of the most popular one. I mean, it is showing up at the top of that list here. And let's see, what about way cooler? What's that? Tiling, written Rust, extendable with dbus. That is cool. Go functionality implemented dbus clients. That's nice. And then Lua, the first class citizen. I see. So that's there's a Lua interpreter in Rust that's being used there, I suppose. And secure. Right, because Rust is safe. Calling it secure is strange. Awesome WM. What? Why are we here? Refer to the awesome documentation. And then WL roots RS. Strange. Why? What does it have to do with anything? Awesome WM. Don't understand why. Maybe because it's a fork, it uses the same Linux. It must be, yeah, it must be Must be reusing the same approach to Lua and stuff, the API. Interesting. So they kind of have a, I mean, I don't know if there's other stuff in the ecosystem. It's a little bit weird that it's not even listed, like that that this doesn't seem to be listing the what is it called, the Waycool window manager, Waycooler. A tiling described by its developers heavily inspired by the tiling of i3 and the extensibility of Awesome. Tiling Rust, but along with bringing all the security guarantees of the language, it also requires extensions to be granted permissions, unlike X11, where any app has free reign to do things like capture all keystrokes. Waycooler also focuses on extensibility. It's a powerful Lua interface for configuring things like themes, keybinds, and Windows layout, which will allow its users to switch to Wayland without losing a functionality previously provided in X11 by utilities such as XDoTool. Also includes a powerful dbus interface for integrating third-party applications such as lock screens with the window manager. So that's seducing because of the whole extensibility framework. It looks like it's worth looking into it a little bit more. Would there be demos or something? There's a blog. Oh, it's dead. Okay. We both used Awesome WM. Thought I'd switch to i3, but at that point, flexibility of Awesome WM was something I sometimes miss. Choosing a language and a framework, and then a personal compositor, a blend of i3 and Awesome. So let's go to the end. Cutting ties. I made some stride with this new version of Waycooler. Switch back to C. And with recurring customer effort to rewrite the Awesome WM object model in Rust, even with the ergonomics of the later. As a last ditch attempt, I decided to see how quickly I could hack the Awesome WM binary to work under the mostly working Waycooler compositor written in C. I deleted 15 lines of code, had something that was working better than the Rust version. Instead forking Awesome WM building weight and supporting to it that way. I see. Assuming this was viable, it's not. I should have done this from the get-go. Only a small part of Awesome WM that deals with the X11 code, the rest defines the Lua API that's quite complex. I actually went quite far. I have a system where you can run Waycooler blah and you get a semi-functioning system. You can spawn programs defining the key bindings, status bar renders, Okay. Heavily tied to the X11 model. Okay. Officially gave up on WRS. Interesting. New shell. Used for the LilyOS project. Unlike Sway and Waycooler, is not a tiling window manager, does not focus on extensibility. However, it has got a good amount of features, like a material design UI, customizable keyboard shortcuts, network and volume control notifications. So there's really only 3 in here, and that's from 2018. Okay, so maybe we need to look at something more recent. Maybe in the ArcWiki Wayland, GUI library, display managers, tiling. Right, okay. So see window managers types for the difference between tiling and stacking. Stacking, a floating Windows Manager, tiling, tiles. Dynamic can dynamically switch between tiling, and so we probably want dynamic, but we can see what's up. Based on cage, blah. Okay, let's take a look at those guys. And actually, yeah, again, the Arch window, the Arch Linux doc is just super good. And yeah, I wanted to look at themes, but obviously I'm looking first at the actual Windows Manager themselves. And in fact, yeah, we haven't looked even, like the Sway seems like maybe it's configurable, but themable is not clear whether this is actually themable. Theme GTK, okay, so you can use GTK3 themes. Okay, I'm not understanding how this stack works. So is Sway built on GTK anyway? Is that a thing? Sway and theming. I am Down syndrome. Okay, maybe it's a GTK theme. It is. So that's interesting, but I'd like to understand what's the interaction between Sway and GTK. How do you configure themes in Sway? Let's hope. You may use the LX appearance package to manage GTK settings. Qt apps. So I suppose it means that in fact the window manager and the what? I don't even know what GNOME is supposed to be in that stack. Okay, Wayland, GNOME, GTK, Sway. Explanation. Okay, that's what I want to know, I think. So Sway would be here, I think. And GTK has a libwayland client. Oh, in fact, so it means we can actually run programs that have been built with these different what? Graphic toolkits, I suppose you could say. Probably, right? So in this case, I mean, I suppose this could be also GNOME, right? Maybe? Like GNOME has a Wayland compositor. And then something like Clutter also does. Definitely want this thing here. That's interesting. So Qt talks to the Wayland compositor and to libwayland EGL. There's a bunch of, and there's Mutter here and Clutter. So you build apps targeting Clutter, and then I wonder if I mean, is it an and an or here, or actually does your libwayland server need to be compatible with the toolkit, or is this an abstraction layer that allows to actually have several toolkits running simultaneously? That is not clear with this diagram. Wayland compositor looks through its scene graph to determine which window should receive the event. As in the X case, when the client receives the event, it updates the UI in response, but in the Wayland case, the rendering happens by the client via EGL. The client just sends a request to the compositor to indicate the region that was updated, right? So there's a kind of a control bus here about like that allows the compositor to keep track of which window is actually receiving the events, like that, doing the routing, and then also keeping track of what gets updated. But the clients actually directly communicate with the graphic stack. Wayland compositor collects damage requests from its clients and then recomposites the screen. Okay, so damage is a graphic windowing thingy, and it must be when there's overlap or like maybe window cursor moving on top of stuff and whatever. Or uncovering and covering windows and things like that. In the Wayland protocol architecture, client and the compositor communicate through the Wayland protocol using the reference implementation libraries. So let's see. Consistent protocol and reference implementation in Western. The project is also developing a version of GTK in Qt rendered to Wayland instead of to X. Most applications are expected to gain support for Wayland for one of these libraries without modification of the application. Network transparency is possible. Right. So that I think is to do remote clients. And a proxy Wayland server. Okay, so apparently mostly through communicating compressed images. And then what? Then, okay, Wayland core interfaces, extension, XDG shell. mesh surfaces on the Wayland compositor. So that XDG thingy seems like that's something I've seen come up several times as way to do environment variable configuration for Wayland. So I think in something like the Arch Linux config, or where was it? Yeah, this type of extensibility, why not? But okay, I'm still interested in that though. Like apparently Sway can do somehow, and I'm not sure why, how, GTK plus 3 theming is possible. And that would be in fact something like here, right? GTK 3 setting on Wayland, that guy. Yeah. I don't want to see what this theme looks like though, just because people talk about it. And GTK and images. I see. I think that may be the one that I'm using right now. Isn't it? Like if you look at settings. There's no, it's close, I think. There is a separator that looks a lot like it. Interesting. Okay. And yeah, it does look like exactly, that is the theme actually. Yeah. So we're using that, I'm pretty sure. Cool. Actually, I need to user share theme. Let's look at our user share theme. Oh, we don't have a user share theme. We have a no, we don't. Okay, maybe it's in actually user share. No. Okay, well, NixOS is NixOS, so it's probably different. And yeah. Okay, I see. New default theme, that's the dark version. Something like that. Okay. But so the idea, I think, is that oh, there's another thingy there. Oh, that's for X-Wayland. Right, which is a compatibility layer for X11 clients, but we don't care so much about that. And that's just the same that we were looking at earlier. And we're in compositors. Okay. Okay, neither Wayland nor X11 specify what software is responsible for rendering the window decoration. Western requires that they're drawn by the client, but Kwin will implement server-side decoration. Also becoming a Wayland compositor. At least that's part of KDE Plasma. Okay, so Kwin is another point in the design space. And it implements window decorations, whereas I suppose GTK is not clear. I see. So the standard doesn't decide what does what, and window content is one thing, but all of this thing on the side then can be decided by different implementations. So it's the compositor that does so, which is cool. I'm going to make a note of that. That's important actually. So you know what? This is really Wayland. Wayland doesn't decide if window decorations are managed by the app or the window manager. A compositor is free to make this decision. So for instance, Western doesn't do decoration, but Kwin, the KDE, implements server, well, what's called server side. Okay, well, I suppose it means compositor side. Server is probably a X11ism. Many window decoration for Kwin, including default current breeze. So I suppose it means that yeah, that the looks will be more consistent, right? KDE start desktop, title bar buttons, script the window manager from the command line. Oh, this is strange. Okay, let's do Kwin and check out some images. Let's see, do we have large ones? Grid tiling, Arch Linux. Okay, let's not have advertising. Come on. And also I'm going to stop streaming very soon because I've been going on and on and on. It's fun. I'm discovering and learning quite a bit of stuff, but just has to stop at some point. And turn, okay. Okay, we don't need the music, and show me what you got. Maybe with a high resolution. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty standard. So doing a little bit of the sway things. Okay, that's what starting apps look like. That's actually not very good. I also don't like this cartoonish thing. Okay, well. Right, so Kwin can do tiling. So are they in that list? They are stacking though. So yeah, Kwin is noted as tiling and it's not in the tiling list. And yeah, there's quite a bit here. There's way more than that. Is that also written in Haskell? It is. Aha. Oh, I definitely want to look that up then. So is this using WL roots? Yes. Excellent. if you need to lock your session, Sway lock, and Sway BG should work for backgrounds. And what about Waybar? We don't know. And yeah, unfortunately, this is a little bit rotten. Let's see if anyone is following up. Someone is actually. Nix build, Travis build, pin to Nix packages, HFuse, Cabal Dep. This is mostly Nix stuff, and okay, and some bounds. And we're talking about recent March 1st. Yeah, we are. So this could work. This branch is even with Waymonad Master. What? Oh, so it must be a different branch then. Yeah. How is it even? Because it's yeah, newer Nix packages is the name of the branch. So let's go check that one out, and let's do the compare. Where is the compare? 9 commit ahead. Fetch upstream. There's no more compare. WTF? What is GitHub doing? Open pull request. Okay, so that's compare. Okay, why not? A recent fork, boom. Oh yeah, with a bunch of, what's that? Hayland. Oh. What? Okay, so that's good that these ecosystems are actually connected, but I don't know what Hayland really is. Okay. And it's not clear why they would be inside this Nix overlay. I suppose it's a new overlay, so maybe it's just an existing dependency. A Waymonad scanner. So there's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I definitely want to look into that. Definitely want to look into that. That seems like a fun thing to play with. So obviously I'm not going to be able to play with that until I'm back. But that's fine. Unless I'm crazy enough to install, for instance, NixOS on my Mac. Should be a whole adventure in itself. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, well, that's it. I'm in vacation for 10 days, so I'll be back sometime in when? I'll be back again, maybe yeah, probably Monday, Tuesday 08. So 8th of June. Let's write this down into the log here, and let's say yeah, I'll be on June 8th. It will be the next episode. So thanks so much, and yeah, take good care, and see you in about 10 days for some new adventures from Portugal. Take care and bye-bye.